Have you ever had that moment when you promise yourself that tomorrow everything will be different? You think, tomorrow I'll wake up early, tomorrow I'll study, tomorrow I'll start changing my life. But tomorrow arrives, and somehow the day ends up being practically the same as the previous one. You get distracted, lose your rhythm, and at the end of the day, that silent feeling of frustration appears. If this has ever happened to you, stay with me until the end of this video. Because the truth is that most people don't fail because of a lack of intelligence, talent, or ability. They fail because they're trying to change their entire lives at once, when what really transforms everything are small daily changes. Today you will understand how small habits can reorganize your mind, your routine, and your energy throughout the day. And pay attention to this. One of these habits seems too small to make a difference, but it may be precisely what completely changes the way you live your days. Most people believe that change needs to be radical, waking up extremely early, studying for hours on end, changing your entire routine at once. It sounds good when you imagine it, but in practice, this type of change usually lasts only a few days. It's like trying to run a marathon without ever having trained before. The problem isn't a lack of willpower. The problem is that our minds like stability. The brain prefers small, constant changes to large bursts of effort. Think of your routine as a system. When this system is chaotic, you depend on motivation, and motivation is unstable. Some days you have energy, other days you simply don't. But when small actions begin to repeat daily, they cease to depend on motivation and become a natural part of your life. And it is at this point that everything begins to change, not with giant decisions, but with small actions repeated every day. It all starts right at the beginning of the day. There's a very common mistake almost everyone makes when they wake up. The first thing many people do is grab their cell phone. It seems innocent, but it gives away control of your mind in the first few minutes of the day. Notifications, messages, social media, information coming from all sides. Your brain immediately enters a state of reaction. You start the day responding to the world instead of deciding how you want to live that day. Keep this in mind because it's important. The first few minutes after waking up act as a kind of mental adjustment. If you start the day calmly and intentionally, your mind tends to remain more organized. A small change can make a huge difference. Instead of grabbing your phone immediately, just sit for a minute, breathe, think about what really matters that day. It doesn't have to be something complex. It can simply be remembering, today I just need to do a few things well. This small moment creates mental space, and this space completely changes the rhythm of your day. Many people ignore this, but how you start your day usually defines the rest of it. Once the day begins, there's another simple habit that has a huge impact: moving your body. It doesn't have to be a heavy workout. It doesn't have to be the gym. It can be a short walk, some stretching, or a few minutes of movement. It seems too simple, but pay attention to this. Your body and mind are deeply connected. When you move your body, your brain understands that the day has truly begun. This increases your mental energy. It's like starting a car engine. If you spend a lot of time sitting still early in the morning, your mind remains in a sluggish state. But when you move, even for just a few minutes, you awaken your entire system. And the most interesting thing is that you start the day with a small victory. Small victories create momentum, and that momentum influences everything that comes after. Now let's talk about focus. One of the biggest problems in today's routine is the fragmentation of attention. People start something, stop, pick up their cell phone, look at a notification, start something else, and get distracted again. At the end of the day, it seems like they've done a lot, but almost nothing has really progressed. Here's where a simple habit can completely change your productivity. Before starting any important task, pause for a few seconds and ask yourself, what really matters to do now? This question changes everything because it takes you out of autopilot mode. It makes your mind choose. And when you consciously choose, your attention is strengthened. This part makes all the difference. It's not about doing many things, it's about doing a few things with presence. During the middle of the day, many people enter a cycle that seems productive, but in reality significantly harms their mental energy. They try to work or study non-stop for hours at a time. At first, it seems like they're making progress,
but gradually the mind begins to tire, concentration decreases, and distractions start to appear. There's a much smarter way to deal with mental energy: small, strategic breaks. It doesn't have to be anything long. Get up for a few minutes, breathe, walk a little, look away from the screen. When you do this, your brain resets. It's like clearing a computer's memory. Ignoring breaks seems productive, but it usually greatly reduces the quality of focus. Remember this: productivity is not about working non-stop. Productivity is about maintaining mental energy throughout the day. There's also a habit that almost no one values, but that profoundly changes how you evolve: reflecting at the end of the day. It doesn't have to be complex. You don't need to write pages or create a complicated system. It can just be a brief moment of silence. Ask yourself, what did I do well today? Then ask, what can I do a little better tomorrow? This reflection creates awareness, and awareness creates evolution. Because without noticing our own patterns, we repeat the same mistakes every day. But when you start observing your own routine, you naturally begin to make adjustments. Small daily adjustments create real progress. Now, there's something very important that needs to be clear. Personal transformation doesn't happen on perfect days. It happens on ordinary days. Days when you're tired, days when motivation is low, days when everything seems harder. Many people believe that discipline means never failing, but that's not true. Discipline means continuing even when you fail, because failing is part of the process. Everyone loses momentum at some point. Everyone procrastinates sometimes. The difference lies in what happens after that. Some people give up, others simply start over. Remember this because it's important. Consistency always beats intensity. Doing a little every day is more powerful than doing a lot just once. Another thing that hinders many people is the constant comparison with others. You see someone progressing faster, studying more, seemingly being more disciplined, but you don't see that person's complete routine. You don't see the mistakes, the difficulties, the hard days. Every person has their own pace. What really matters is progress, small progress, but consistent progress. That's what builds true evolution. Now think about this for a moment. Imagine living 30 days with small changes like these: waking up with more intention, moving your body early in the morning, choosing better where to focus your attention, taking intelligent breaks during the day, reflecting for a few minutes before bed. None of these things seem revolutionary in isolation, but together they begin to completely reorganize your life. Your mind becomes clearer, your routine lighter, your focus stronger, and little by little you realize something interesting. You're no longer trying to change your life. You're already living differently, because transformation doesn't happen in a single big moment. It happens in small moments repeated every day. If this video helped you see your routine in a different way, go ahead and give it a like. This helps this type of content reach more people who are also trying to improve. Subscribe to the channel to continue receiving videos that help you develop discipline, focus, and a more organized life. And if you know someone who is trying to improve their routine, share this video with them. Sometimes all someone needs is to hear the right idea at the right time. And always remember one thing: small actions done every day create a completely different life. Silent discipline today builds freedom tomorrow.